This is Patrick Race reporting from Juneau, where a dense fog has locked legislators and constituents out of the capital city.
Sorry.
Damn it, Lou. In his State of the State address, Governor Sean Parnell declared this, the education session. The governor's proposals to eliminate the state exit exam and increase funding for schools were met with optimism, but he sparked controversy with his support of SJR 9, a vote on a constitutional amendment that would allow public money to be used in funding private and religious schools. Some believe this would harm public schools and go against the spirit of our state constitution. Let's listen to a few words from former legislator, lieutenant governor, and delegate to the State Constitutional Convention, Jack Coghill.
I believe that we should take direct steps to maintain a free public education not encroached upon by any quarter. I do not deny the right of people to have their own schools. However, I think that we should always look to the interests of the founders of our nation when they brought about the separation of church and state.
But there are other opinions. With us today, Bjorn Snorsgaardsen, head thane of the Mighty Thor e-learning School of Business Management and Vocational Tech.
Well met, good sir.
Hello, and welcome to the show, Mr. Snorsgaardsen. Perhaps you could begin by telling us a little bit about your school.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, Patrick, we are deeply rooted in traditional values and education. Our philosophy emphasizes the 4 R's: reading, writing, arithmetic, and Ragnarok.
Who is Ragnarok?
Obviously, you had a public education. Some of us do not desire that our children be reared without knowledge of Fenrir the Wolf, Bifrost the Rainbow Bridge, or the great and powerful Odin, the All-Father.
Fair enough, but why do you think we should be using public funds to pay for religious institutions like yours? What about the separation of church and state? And not to mention the inefficiency of splitting our education dollars among hundreds of specialized schools.
You prattle on! This vexes me greatly. No more talk! Ah!
Okay, where did he go? All right, well, I don't know why people are always leaving in the middle of my interviews. I think that our Hello, we're back. And we have Walter McWalter from the consulting firm American Privatization Experts. Thank you for joining us, Mr. McWalter.
Pat, it's a pleasure to be here in your non-government studio.
Can you give us your analysis on the governor's plan to shift public money to private schools?
Well, it's a great start, but we can do a lot more for Alaskans. Children are our most valuable resource, but what's our third most valuable resource? Salmon. And the public salmon system just doesn't work.
The public salmon system, you mean the Department of Fish and Game?
That's right. We're seeing huge declines in our public schools of salmon. The biologists claim that it's because the state has been systematically underfunding the department for years. But I say it's time for Alaskans to have a choice in who looks after their salmon.
Okay, but if we give public funds to private groups, won't that decrease the amount of money Fish and Game receives?
No. We're proposing an increase in the base salmon allocation. The only change is that Fish and Game will now have to step up and compete with private industry. With more options, everybody wins.
Won't that money be spread thin over so many groups? Why not just fully fund Fish and Game at the levels they've requested and give them some time to see if that makes a difference?
Pat, most Alaskans feel like the current public system just doesn't match up with their personal values. A lot of biologists are making decisions based on things like evolution. And some Alaskans don't want their salmon exposed to that kind of thinking.
Okay, it sounds like a contentious issue, but I'm sure that if we work together in a spirit of compromise, we can find the best solution for our salmon and our children. We'll be right back!